Hello and welcome, friends. This is the JRPG Report, and this is episode 158 of your weekly JRPG News Podcast. My name is James Fisher. Welcome back. As always, we got a fun show for you guys today. Leading off the show is something that broke maybe minutes, maybe an hour or so after we got done recording last week, but we had a good show last week, and this will give us something to start off with this time. We've been kind of transitioning from the blitz of titles at the beginning of the year. Seemed to be a little lull going on. Of course, we got Near Replicant coming out next month, but it's kind of like, what's those next ones on the horizon? Well, one of those that we knew was, in addition to like Disgaea 6, we knew was coming out in the summer. That is Scarlet Nexus. Well, we have actual, not just time frame, we have a release date, and that is June the 25th. It will launch to most every system that is out there right now. There's PS5, PS4 versions, Xbox One versions, and PC. So only the poor little Switch, which let's all be fair. Don't think Switch was geared for this one. It needs a hardware upgrade before it's going to be handling these next generation type games. But yeah, coming out on the June the 25th. Japan will get it a day earlier, technically. There will be two editions, as always. It seems like you get your standard and physical edition for $59.99. There's a special digital deluxe edition, which will go for $20 more. That you, in addition to the game, you get the Battle Attire Set Red, digital soundtrack, digital art book, and additional attachment, the Others. Pre-orders are available now, and you also get the following in-game cosmetics as a bonus if you pre-order it. The Special Battle Attire Set Audio, additional attachments of Face Vision, Seal, Dreamcatcher, and Shoulder Bagai, 11 of those. Whatever those are, you're getting them. So I'm very excited about this one. You know, it's got those psychokinetic abilities, kind of got that psyops feel to it. Those of you who know what that PS2 game was, but very slick, modern anime style. I think the graphics look phenomenal. It's pretty heavy, more on the action end of the spectrum than the action RPG, at least visually. I mean, not quite like Devil May Cry speed, but definitely a little more action than typically I like, although I'm sitting here playing, Persona 5 Strikers at the moment, and that's about as action as you can get. But I love the idea of being able to use those abilities. You can lift, break, throw pieces of the environment at enemies. Very cool, stylish looking game. And yeah, that summer, like I said, outside of Disgaea 6, the summer looks a little bit lull in the releases. Obviously there's a bunch I'm probably forgetting at the moment, and 2021 will be a big year, I think, overall for JRPGs. We still a lot we don't know, but this one's going to fill a nice little void there in the summer. Personally speaking, I think that this game, while it's coming out at, technically at the end of one generation and the other one has officially started, I feel like this is the game that's going to take advantage of the new hardware and play and look a whole lot better. So while of course you can get a PS4 version and upgrade it to the PS5 version, I think it's one of those deals like I really do want the new system to play this game on. I'm sure it plays fine on, I guess we're going to call this last generation, PS4 and Xbox One, and including Switch, but it does feel like this is the type of game that you're going to need a new system for to really get the most bang for your buck. I don't have that yet. Maybe by the summer they're more readily available. On a side tangent, I did read an article this week that is, I've heard people say like, why is there such a shortage in PS5s? There should be, you should be able to walk into a store and get it whenever you want. still, we're still recovering from this, little worldwide pandemic going, but there's just been this massive shortage of semiconductors. And if you think consoles are the only thing that use these things, that's just an insane thought. Literally everything in our lives has these components inside of it, and even more than we even thought of many years ago. So the demand is out the roof. That's why you see like graphics cards are near impossible to get as well. But I mean, car parts, they're in our cars, obviously computers. You've got semiconductors and appliances, your smartphones. I mean, literally everything that you can think of that has electricity running through it runs on these things. And there's just a huge, huge shortfall. I don't know when that's going to finally catch up. When it does, and when I can not need a Twitter account to tell me when a PS5 is available, and that's the day I will probably upgrade it. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade again. That has me excited for PS5, and in addition to all the games that's going to be available for it, I've been wanting to play through Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition again. I know that would be a really much more enjoyable experience on a PS5 as well. So it's coming, and I can't wait for it. This game in particular, like Scarlet Nexus, looks like it's going to be amazing on it as well. They also announced that there is going to be an anime series set to air this summer, kind of going along with it. I believe it actually stars the same characters in it, in Yuto and Kasane are in this anime as well. And I think it's going to be on Funimation starting this summer. The following day after this announcement, and I put this, there was a big live stream event kind of talking about a whole lot of fun things. I took the hour and 15 long live stream and just clipped out the gameplay bits of it. So I think it came down to about 17 minutes of actual gameplay. So if you are interested in, just getting pure new gameplay footage, you can check that out on our YouTube channel, along with the announcement trailer for the release date. All that stuff is going to be over there for your viewing enjoyment. That's quite looking forward to it. If you get this game on PS4 and you want to upgrade it to PS5, they did also announce that you can carry over your save file from one version to the next. If you recall games like Yakuza Like a Dragon, you were not able to do that. I'm not quite sure what that was about. It would seem to be a pretty standard thing to be able to load your game up in it, like we mentioned FF7 Remake Intergrade. It also is going to have that feature that you can import your save file and not need to start all the way over again. I kind of feel like that should be a standard thing, don't you? Just if you're going to be ponying up for this new system, you should at least be able to get your files over as well. So are you looking forward to Scarlet Nexus, or is it kind of one of those ones like you think it's a pass for now? I'm very much on the fence about it. I wouldn't mind picking it up at some point, but it's definitely not going to be a day one purchase for me. This story just broke a few moments ago, and it's good news if you are a Stadia owner. I gotta learn how to say that name. Stadia, however it is. JRPG lovers for that system are going to have some new games to play. If you've already got a PS4 or PC, you may already have them, but this is good news nonetheless. Nihon Falcom and NS America and Google announced that Ys 8, Ys 9, Trails of Cold Steel 3, and Trails of Cold Steel 4 will all be coming to the service, and it won't be very long. The things will start on April the 1st, when Ys 8 and Cold Steel 3 both appear on the service. I believe they're saying that Ys 9 and Cold Steel 4 will be a little bit longer. Ys is not going to be till the summer of this year, and when Cold Steel 4 comes out for Switch and PC on April 9th, it will now also be releasing for Stadia. That kind of makes sense. As far as pricing goes, let's see here. Ys 8 is going to go for $40. 9 is still going to be at $50 when it comes out. And same for Cold Steel 3 and 4. They're both going to be, I'm sorry, $60 for Ys 9. And it'll be $60 for Cold Steel 3 and 4. So, hey, like when I shared it on social medias, the more platforms that JRPG lovers have to enjoy their games on is always a good thing. Perhaps there's, this is somebody's only system, and this is the way they get into these games. I mean, between Ys 8 and the Cold Steel 3 and 4, it's going to be hard to come by better options in terms of that. Obviously, I wish the entire Cold Steel lineup was on there. With it not being on Switch right away and like stuff like this, it does lead me to believe this is some sort of hold up with Xseed, who published Cold Steel 1 and 2. I don't know why that thought never really occurred to me, but it does seem to be the case. I would prefer people play Cold Steel 1 and 2 before playing 3 and 4. You will get much more enjoyment out of the entire series. I prefer you play all the games in the Legend of Heroes series first, but, there are limitations to that, myself included. But yeah, definitely good news coming soon to Stadia. We talked last week about the DLC plans for FF7 Remake Intergrade, and there was a new extended trailer that came out for the game. Remember not long ago at the last State of Play, they had the roughly, I think it was 4 or 5 minute trailer. This one was closer to 8, I think. This one was about 6 minutes. The last one was closer to 3. They said there was an additional 3 minutes of footage. I didn't notice a ton of new stuff in there, but I didn't, have it side by side to compare it. It has definitely got me very excited to play this again on PlayStation 5. They say in the extended video, you get a look around the city of Midgar like never before, with improved textures, lighting, and background environments. Switch between the 2 game modes of graphics mode, which prioritizes 4K resolution, and performance mode, which prioritizes 60 frames per second. You can capture and share your favorite moments with the fully customizable photo mode. That thing's going to be a lot of fun to mess around with. Like in the video, you can really see moments captured. You got different filters, different angles, however you want to do it. It's very user-friendly, it appears. You can really capture some intense moments from the game and kind of take a pause. They do say there's going to be use of the DualSense wireless controller with its haptic feedback integration. That'd be interesting to see how that exactly works. And this is all in addition, of course, to the new DLC starring Yuffie. Of course, that's going to be an additional fee and only available for PlayStation 5. Still no pricing on what that's going to be, but you'll get the whole package when it comes out worldwide on June the 10th. If you're interested in that new extended trailer, it's over on our YouTube channel for you to enjoy anytime that you choose to. There was a bunch of other Final Fantasy stories. We'll get into those in just a moment. In other Final Fantasy news, it was announced that there is now a mobile version of Final Fantasy VIII Remastered for iOS via the App Store and Android via Google Play. Appears to be largely the same version that was first launched for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC via Steam back in September of 2019. Might look a little bit better on a small screen. I'm not exactly sure. So if you're looking to pick that up, you can do it at a discount of just $16.99 until April 4th. After that, it will go up to its regular price of $20.99. Don't think there's any additional features that weren't already available. This is just, kind of a port to mobile platforms. They do say, please read this before playing. Entering or leaving vehicles such as cars and the garden may occasionally get your character stuck between the vehicle and terrain features or freeze the vehicle in place. This seems to happen more often when you leave your vehicle in close proximity to impassable terrain, or when you try and enter or leave your vehicle during certain scripted events. Currently, the only fix for this is to reload a previously saved game, so make sure to save your game often. Also, some locations may be difficult to navigate using the speed boost ×3. We advise that you turn off this feature in such areas. I guess you will know it as soon as you get to it. And that kind of makes sense. I mean, I know when I tried playing Cold Steel in speed mode and double time and running and everything else. And of course, if it's a tight corridor, it's going to be a little more tricky to navigate those things. It is kind of odd that this seems to be a mobile problem, but I'm sure there's bound to be things that happen or don't happen. But yeah, you can now play it on your phone. This game goes on sale quite often on the PlayStation Store and Switch Store, so maybe if you don't want to pay $21 for it, you can wait and get it on sale at some point in time. Speaking of mobile, it was officially announced that they have canceled the mobile version of Final Fantasy XI Reboot. The last thing that kind of was talked about this was back in May of 2018. So yeah, if you were looking forward to it, it's not going to happen. I feel like that could actually work, a mobile version, but why try to reboot 11? Why not just make a mobile, kind of tie-in version to 14? I think people would be excited about something like that, rather than a completely new reboot of an old game. It's kind of a weird thing. So yeah, that one's officially dead. Don't have to worry about that one anymore. Speaking of 14, patch 5.5 screenshots show the new armor sets that have surfaced. I've got, if you're listening to the YouTube video version of this podcast, you'll see those popping up on your screen right about now. Additionally, this update included more information regarding the story. However, this website does include spoilers, so they don't go into that just yet. It just does. It expands upon the events of Final Fantasy XIV patch 5.4 and mentions specific events. Additionally, you'll notice if you're looking at these images, one of them involved Diamond Weapon. This thing looks terrifying. It kind of shows, it looks like it's in a lab kind of being worked on or created. Not really sure what the deal is, but something that terrified my childhood is apparently back in Final Fantasy XIV. They released the FF14 Silence and Sinners arrangement album, and it quickly rose to the top of the North America iTunes chart. The album features several rearrangements of various themes from Shadowbringers. So yeah, it took literally no time before rising all the way to the top of the charts. Way to go for it. In case you were wondering, yeah, you can get this on the iTunes store at any point in time. It's probably available on other platforms as well, but always cool to see stuff like that. One final Final Fantasy story, and then I promise I will move on to the rest of it. If you're playing War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, there is an upcoming Final Fantasy X collaboration event going to be going on. Well, I say upcoming, it actually started yesterday, March the 24th. It will run until March the 4th of 2021. It looks like you can be able to land one of 3 events, maybe all of them, if you are lucky enough, but you can get Titus, Yuna, or Auron. There was a special trailer that went along for this event, showing off their special attacks. Looks pretty cool. I've not got into this game, and this kind of makes me want to check it out, as I'm a huge fan of FF10. Square Enix announced this crossover back in November of last year for Japanese audiences, but luckily the West did not miss out on it. There's already been Final Fantasy Tactics characters join, and even Nier Automata Protagonist 2B and 9S have also come onto the game. Final Fantasy War of the Visions, Braves Exvius, is available for iOS and Android devices. If you are looking for something cool to add to your shelf of figures, they're not dolls, they're action figures. Good Smile Company has revealed a 1/7 scale statue of Mia from Code Vein. The final product will stand at about 10 inches tall, and they will start delivering it in August of 2022. So you've got a while, but you're going to need a while to probably save up for this one. They're going for $226.99. Granted, it's a pretty good sized figure, so you can see what would be a little bit more expensive. If you want to, you're going to need to pre-order it now. Pre-orders will end on May the 12th. And like I said, the expected finished product ship date in North America is September of next year. And we got a first look at a game called Astria Ascending, a new RPG that reimagines the story and gameplay of the 2014 released iOS game Zodiac Arcanon Odyssey. This was revealed in the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu. It will launch for PS5, PS4, and Switch in 2021 in Japan. No word if that's coming over to the West or not. It looks like a pretty cool fantasy JRPG. The developer is listed as Super Neptune RPG Studio Artesian Studios. So once we hear some more about this thing, you can see the image if you're listening along or watching along on YouTube. But we'll have some more about this at some point in time. But this was kind of the first look at it. Looks pretty cool. Kind of has like a Dragon's Crown type look to it in a certain aspect. But I mean, all we have is a couple of images. No word about what kind of gameplay. If I've not heard of that iOS title of Zodiac Arcanon Odyssey, maybe that was even Japan only, but just throwing that one kind of out there. If you are a Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny fan, of course, you've got a little bit longer to wait until its Western release. Japan got DLC character set number 2, and that has, of course, bear with me if I don't say these names correctly. I am sorry. Mile and Rasbarrel from Disgaea 3, and Vala Torres and Plarnarchon from Disgaea 4. These are going for 550 yen each. Remember, they just announced that DLC Part 1 was coming to the West, so I'm assuming this one's going to come as well, and we'll have different price points, and however it works here in the West will be, of course, different than over there. The company announced it will release a free update alongside the release of a third set of DLC content, which will happen on April the 29th. More details will be provided at that time. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny is out in Japan right now and will launch for the Switch on June 29th in North America and Europe. Still no word on why or what's going on with the PS4 version of it. We're beginning a steady stream of music videos for the Calligraphy Effect 2, the music trailers from the, I cannot say that word, Abelgato musician. First was by Kudan, who is composed by Tasakumi Tsumuki. Samiki, sure. We got that one. And then we got for Crank, who was composed by Niru. You can check those out on our YouTube channel. The music for this game is phenomenal so far. I believe this brings the total up to 6. Yeah, 6 of those are available. Well, the other one says 7. Yeah, no, 7. Make it 7 are out now. You can watch all those on our YouTube channel. Great, great music. Looks like a very promising looking game. I need to play the first one before this one comes out in the fall. I'm very interested to see know a little bit more about this one. It kind of has that Persona feel to it from the writer or director of the first two Persona games. So it's got that feel for a reason. We don't know much of anything about this, but it was announced that there is going to be a strategy RPG Fairy Tail Guildmasters game coming to iOS and Android. It will launch as a free-to-play title with in-app purchases this spring in Japan. Looks like it's got all the standard members of the Fairy Tail Guild in there, and but that was it. Literally nothing else was announced, so we'll have to wait and see what else comes from it at that time. We talked a bit about this one a little bit ago, and it's got that crazy name of Sashibatsu President, It's Time for Battle, Muji Wars. Well, it will launch on March the 30th in Japan. It does have English subtitles as well as Japanese and simplified Chinese. So if you want to check that out, you can do that. I'm guessing that's how it's going to be available worldwide for PC via Steam on March 30th at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for $20. Developer pre-app partners announced. Additionally, they announced a partnership with Idea Factory to bring Neptune over from the Neptunia series as a playable downloadable content character on day one for $2. They say more characters from the Neptunia series will be released as DLC in the coming months. If you've not already done so, be sure to give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. You'll get up to date pretty much every day we share something over there. Then at the end of the week on Thursdays, we gather up all that information and put it into a podcast. You can also give us a subscription on YouTube. I think I'm hopefully about like the end of the day, I'll be at 800 subscriptions, and that's an awesome number. Of course, the magic number is 1,000, and YouTube will give you some pennies every month. So yeah, if you haven't already, please consider doing that. And also consider financial support if you enjoy what you hear each and every week, as well as what we create on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate if you would donate a couple dollars this way. And it kind of gets me fired up to keep taking time out of the schedule to bring you this. I greatly enjoy it. And it's my pleasure and honor to do this each and every week for you guys. The main characters from Atelier Ryza 2 will make an appearance in Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14 as free DLC starting today, March the 25th. You can check those out. I think this game is just in Japan, is it not? Oh, well, thank you, Update. I appreciate that. I can't see that it's is or is not. All the images are in Japanese as far as the text goes, so I'm going to guess that's way way it is. Maybe this one's coming to the West at some point in time. Remember, they already put the first Atelier Ryza games in there as well, but this was adding part 2 to the roster, and the images that went along with this article, the character models are lifted absolutely just from the game. It's not even trying to change them, which maybe is not a bad thing at all. The newest update 1.5 for Sword Art Online, Alicization Lycoris, will be going live. Is that soon or is that now? I think it's now. I don't have a date on it, so I'm guessing it is available right now. They will add, I guess you say this, Stria and Philia to the game. Both the new companions are available to use in 1.5 content and will remain usable through future updates. So that's always a good thing. This is the new DLC packed Mysotis. So there you go. If you're still playing Alicization Lycoris, you can get a couple new players to check out for your gameplay options. I am really excited, and well, until I see a price point, I guess. I'm excited about the new, this is a mobile game, yeah, Fantasion, coming from Mistwalker developer. They've shared 3 new videos this past week. I kind of took all 3 and put them into one longer video, so you have to click in and out. It's coming to Apple Arcade, so you can play it on the Mac OS or TV OS, and sometime in 2021. First, there is the behind-the-scenes recording of Kina's theme. There is a illustrations with piano solo from the game, so that's pretty cool. But one of the coolest things they did was they had a short interview with Nobu Uematsu. And one quote in particular said that he was working basically like 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Making the music for this game, and he has devoted everything he had to it. So, which is interesting because I think we had some reports not long ago he was in some poor health. So he obviously was feeling good enough to put in some 13-hour days for this game. I know that part of this game is going to be fantastic. We hesitate because it's coming to mobile platforms, but this is okay. So this is coming to Apple Arcade. All right. I think we do need to distinguish between that and your typical mobile gotcha, shovelware type titles. These ones are being developed with a little bit more behind them, and I'm 99% sure you're going to have to pay for these things. So I think they're just going to be games. And this is just a platform to get them into your hands since you already have a phone in your hands. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, once this comes out and we can really check it out, how well it's done. It looks fantastic in my opinion. And from everything I've heard, of course, it sounds amazing. We'll just have to wait and see. They keep holding to 2021. We don't have anything lower in terms of scale when this game is coming out. But as soon as I hear it, I will let you know. So I got one last story to tell you guys about, and going to be a little bit of a rant in there. So if you've been holding on this long, you've got that to look forward to. One quick bit of housekeeping to note. There are some changes coming up in the old Fisher household, and hopefully here within the next couple months, we're going to be on the move again. This time maybe to a warmer, more JRPG island location. Nothing is set in stone, but we are definitely in some paperwork processes to make some big moves happen. As far as the podcast goes, maybe like the week that we're moving and getting things from one location to other, there might be a slight delay or a week off, something like that. But in terms of every week, I'm still going to be here. If there's news to report, I'm going to give it to you guys. The YouTube channel will be going. As far as if I have internet and there's stuff to put on there, I will do that as well. Like I said, when the actual move is going on, maybe there's some considerations that need to be made. The biggest thing that's going to be changing, though, is our nightly live streams. I am wrapping up Strikers. I thought I was going to be done a couple nights ago. Maybe it's tonight that is the final countdown to that. And at this current time, I really don't have another one to go into. And to be quite honest, I'm going to need my time and resources and energy to put into making this big life change actually happen for me and my family. So I'm going to put a little bit of a pause on the live streams, and they'll be back. But it'll be, like I said, in a different location. You won't know that because it won't really matter as far as the stream goes. But yeah, if you've been enjoying those, I do apologize. But there's just only so much time and energy that I'm going to have to put out there. Plus, I don't have anything new to play. And the live streams are, at least so far, they've been dedicated to new JRPGs. And that's just don't have anything right now. So yeah, they'll be back. Don't worry. But it'll be probably be a few months before those nightly streams are back in action. So let's rant a little bit. Good news. Here's the good news. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered will launch for PS4, Switch, and PC via Steam on May the 25th in the West for $49.99, Atlas announced. The PC version, that's brand new. We hadn't heard about that before now. So the game looks great compared to the PS2 version. I've seen it side by side. It was a little bit pooey looking before. Now it looks pretty decent. You might say $49.99. It's a bit steep for a remaster, and I'm not going to disagree with you there. That does seem a little bit pricey. You are correct. Here's where you, if you aren't thrilled about that, here's some more things to get you all to grind your gears a little bit. There is a digital deluxe edition, which will be $20 more than that, and that's going for $69.99. So you get the full game. Hey, at least they give you early access, so you can play it 4 days early on May the 21st. Here's what they're adding into it. The Maniacs Pack, which adds Dante from Devil May Cry. For what I've been told, I haven't played the game, but I was told that was just available on PS2. The Chronicle Pack, which adds Raidu from the Devil Summoner series. Note the Chronicle Pack is available in the base game for PS4 and Switch versions. It is free downloadable content for Steam version only, so that doesn't matter, right? So you get that either way. The Merciful difficulty is an easier difficulty mode. I've heard these games are pretty tough. That feels like that should be something in the base game, doesn't it? That's kind of weird. The Mercy and Expectation map pack, which adds Little Master's Mercy and Master's Expectation. You also get the background music pack, which is a total of 8 songs included in it. So let's just rant a little bit. $20 more for not a ton of content, and then what you do get, I feel like for $49.99 should probably be in that version. I'm not getting this game, so I'm kind of reflecting some of the drawbacks I've heard to the announcement on their YouTube channel. But yeah, on the surface, this doesn't necessarily make me happy. I'm super glad that they're doing stuff like this and bringing games back out. And yes, it does look good, but that price point just seems a bit high. And adding stuff like an easier difficulty mode in there and making people pay extra on top of it doesn't sit too well with you. Maybe they changed their mind and that is actually included in there in the base version, but I don't know. How do you feel about it? Am I completely off topic, or does this resonate with you as well? But yeah, having a release date is always a good thing. There was a release date video that went along with it, not showing the game, but with the director of the game, Kazuyuki Yame. So yeah, it's hard to believe. It came back in 2003. That's when this one came out. There you go. So been a while, but yeah, that's going to do it for the news. I try to kind of give you a little bad with a little good there at the end, not just a total rant, but yeah, definitely good to have a release date, and we'll see how that pans out in the future. That's it for this week's podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, as you do each and every week. It means the world to me, and glad you choose to spend some of your time listening to me ramble on about JRPGs. Hopefully we'll be back next week. There's stuff to talk about. We're not moving just yet, so we'll be back here next Thursday with some more news around the JRPG world. My name is James Fisher. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys again next week. But until then, get back out there and level up.